Do I believe in UFOs or extraterrestrial beings? Where should I start? Let's start with the phrase UFO. Let's start with the U, which means unidentified. It appears that the public has this terrible ignorance of trying to explain things that they cannot explain. For instance, you're at a ball game, or you're at a carnival, or you're at a fair somewhere in this beautiful summertime weather, and you're in an open field somewhere, and all of a sudden you and your spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, look up in the sky and you see something you can't identify. It's got purple lights, it's got green lights, it's flashing. It does a couple of circles, and all of a sudden, boom, it's gone. It's light speed. You don't see it no more. Your initial reaction is, honey, did you see that? It must be a UFO. It must be aliens from outer space. Well, if you don't know what it is, that's where your conversation needs to stop. It's not proper to go from an abject state of ignorance to an abject state of certainty just because you can't explain something. That is what I believe goes on with all these UFO sightings. Now, I am not an expert with UFOs. I have taken a liking to them probably for the past 20 years. I've watched a lot of documentaries, and I've watched countless videos on YouTube, just like you folks have. And I've written a few essays about it, which is one of them's on my Beaver County Hauntings website, because we had a UFO incident right here in this county, and I wrote about it. And there is an abundance of information all over social media about this. There, you know, maybe, what is it? What are the odds? I don't even know. 1 in 7 people believe in UFOs? I don't know what it is. I honestly don't. My girlfriend and I enjoy watching documentaries about UFOs and watching videos. I mean, if you just type in UFO sightings on YouTube right now, you're going to get such a plethora of information, you're not going to be able to see it in a lifetime. So I know what's out there. I have a general idea, like most of you guys do. But it appears that we try to interpret things that we just simply can't understand. And if you're uncomfortable in ignorance, you're never going to find out the answer anyway, because scientists, that's all they are, is steeped in ignorance. They live on the realm between what is known and unknown in the universe. And there's more unknown about the universe than there is known, for very obvious reasons, which, by the way, never seems to make it into the dialogue of UFO discussion, and I'll touch on that in a little bit. One of the things that I've noticed that really disturbs me about UFO sightings is how they're all different and all the same simultaneously. This is something that's always bothered me about UFOs. Has it ever occurred to anybody, and again, I don't want to sound like I'm some scientific expert. I don't have a degree in science. I'm just a guy who writes books and makes YouTube videos. Okay, that's all I am. I am not claiming in any way to be an expert, but I have done extensive research over the years about this. And I just share a view that I think is a bit different from everybody else. But one of the questions I ask myself is, why would an alien race, let's just say that they're out there, why would an alien race that is thousands of years in advancement over us, or even millions, that can fly at light speeds across just our galaxy, and our galaxy's a little over 100,000 light years across, which is a very long time. Human beings don't live that long. Human beings don't even live 1,000 years. Human beings don't even live 200 years. Human beings barely live to be 100 years old. They're in the 1% range in this world. Why is it that they can fly flawlessly across the universe, okay, across the galaxy, and always crash somewhere in a remote part of our planet? It's either in some hillbilly's cornfield or in the woods somewhere where they are completely unable to navigate where they're at. I've always been deeply disturbed by that. The second one is, of course, is the mathematical factor itself. These aliens are living awfully long lives to travel hundreds of thousands of light years into the universe across galaxies just to visit our planet. Why do they do that? Even if they are living 500,000 years, or even if they're living 1,000,000 years, why would they want to take a quarter of their life just to fly through the universe just to see what we're up to? It just doesn't make any sense to me. What's actually more believable to me is an experimental military aircraft from Area 51 or other top secret military establishments that nobody seems to have a discussion about, crashing into some remote corner in the woods, on a hillside, wherever, and the military comes and confiscates it because it's a top secret experimental aircraft and nobody has any knowledge or access to it. That's more believable than aliens flying across the universe and crashing into our hillsides. Why doesn't a UFO ever land in downtown Pittsburgh? Why does it never land in Times Square? Why does it never land in downtown Los Angeles or downtown Boston or downtown Miami? Why is it always in some remote, obscure part of the planet? It always seems to be the case. I'll let you figure that out. I'm not even going to attempt to answer such a ridiculous question. So you see, I can't entertain the idea. Now, I also tell you in the same breath, though, I'm not 100% convinced that we're alone in the universe. As the late Carl Sagan said, you know, if we're the only life form in the universe, it's an awful waste of space. The chemistry is too rich, it's too abundant for life not to exist elsewhere. I don't have a problem believing in other life forms, but I do have a problem of believing that they're flying through tremendous dangers across the galaxies just to visit our planet. A more believable idea is they don't have the technology to visit us anymore than we have the technology to visit them. And they certainly don't possess the lifespans. Doesn't that sound a little bit more believable? I'm not trying to insult anybody's intelligence, guys. UFOs are fascinating. Paranormal stuff is fascinating, and I do all this stuff. And I write about it, I research about it. But I just don't see a type of evidence that a legitimate scientist would require that's going to establish all these sightings as true, legitimate evidence that life exists elsewhere in the universe. I just don't see it. Bigfoot is another problem. There's always a 9-foot tall hairy creature running around in the woods that nobody can catch a legitimate picture of or a video, even though all these YouTube channels that are out there, there are folks running around in these woods with, you know, $5,000 cameras and they can't capture one good single picture of them. None of them. Every picture I see looks like it was taken in 1962, and every video I see looks like it was filmed in 1975. It's grainy, it's wide, it has no proper angle, it's discolored, it looks like it's been through hell and back. I can never identify anything that's on there. It could be anything. It could be anything. I have never seen pictures where I feel that this is authentic evidence of a UFO or a Bigfoot or anything like that. Go ahead and keep looking for this stuff. I'm not going to stop you. I feel it's a fascinating subject and I feel it deserves to be discussed. But I don't see the idea that this is a legitimate topic to where I can actually have a serious discussion about it. I just don't. And again, I'm not saying we haven't been visited, but I am saying that the evidence presented to me thus far just doesn't require even the standard evidence that I would be subjected to. I would look at it and say, yeah, that's a UFO. That's definitely something from outer space. I just don't see it. So until somebody can show me something, I need more than your word. I need more than your photograph, because we all know what we can do with photographs in this day and age. Okay, I need something that's going to be solid. Yeah, I need more than your eyewitness testimony, because we know that the lowest form of evidence that exists on this planet is eyewitness testimony. 100 people can see the same thing and you'll get 100 different stories. By nature, humans are poor data takers. We just are, okay? Everything we say is fallible. And it doesn't matter if you have a PhD on your wall or if you're a high school dropout. Education has nothing to do with it. It's just biology. We are poor data takers. We mistaken appearances all the time. I could look here, there's a creek right next to me right here, and I could say there's a Menongi walking around here. You know what a Menongi is? I wrote about it on one of my American Indian websites. It's a mythical creature that exists in Pittsburgh here that swims in Monongahela River, and it's like the Loch Ness Monster. And purportedly Indians are the ones that invented this legend and saw it. It turns out that's not the case at all. I wrote a whole article about it explaining why that probably didn't happen, but you can check it out some other time. It's on my Beaver County Indian website. It's up on the channel banner there, my channel art on the YouTube. Yeah, he's called the Menongi. He's like this big giant fish that eats up people when he sees them in boats and swallows them whole, and you know, it's just a terrifying story. But it's based on mostly on urban legend. So until somebody can give me some empirical evidence, I can't entertain the conversation. I will entertain the dialogue. I feel that the chemistry that exists on this planet and out of the universe is enough to harvest life elsewhere. But I do not see any physical, powerful, empirical evidence is going to leave me to believe that what I see in the sky is visitors from another planet. I just don't, and I cannot entertain that. And I'm not trying to insult the people who do believe in this. There are many UFO conventions here in Pennsylvania. Stan Gordon is one of the leading authorities here in Pennsylvania. He has a fantastic website. I'll leave a link down below this video. You can watch it. You can see all the stuff that he has brought on there, all the Bigfoot sightings, all the UFO sightings. He's a very, very renowned expert in this field. He's been on Coast to Coast AM many times. For you guys who are familiar with the Coast to Coast AM program, which I'm sure you are, especially if you study UFOs, you know all about that and what goes on there and what they discuss and talk about. He's been on that program many times over the years. You can check out his stuff and see what you think. I'll leave a link down below this video for his website. He is a leading authority in this area, and he's got like over 40 years experience with this stuff. He's much more qualified to answer this than I am, but I am answering it from the perspective of a person who is skeptical of it, highly skeptical, non-believable. Okay, to me, I'm a non-believing person when it comes to this kind of stuff. In the meantime, you want to send me photos of something, go ahead. You want to PM me, go ahead. But I'm not going to entertain a serious conversation about this, but I will entertain a fascinating one. See you in the next video.